Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for tuning in once again. You guys may recall a couple of really cool videos that I made a couple weeks ago regarding the Insta360 One X2 camera. I made that cool like video game style video where the camera was out behind me getting some third person footage. I made a couple other ones where I mounted it on my chest. Got some really cool chest cam video. Overall, just a really sick camera, and Insta360 actually saw those videos and they contacted me and they were like, yo, this is some of the coolest footage that we've seen with this camera. We just came out with a brand new camera and we would love to send it to you and see what kind of footage you can get and just see what you think of this thing. So of course I said, heck yeah, send that thing over, and this is what they sent me. Behold the new Insta360 GO2 camera. Your eyes are not deceiving you. This thing is absolutely tiny. Here's a little size reference with my GO2 camera, the GoPro Hero 9. As you can see, absolutely dwarfed in comparison. And let me tell you guys, after using this thing for a couple of months, the size is so sick and allowed me to get some really cool angles that I've never gotten before. I've never seen anyone else get before. Dare I say, it allowed me to get some world's first point of view footage. And as you guys know, that's what I build this channel around, bringing you guys the absolute best onboard footage that you can get on a motocross bike. That's why a lot of you guys are here. It's kind of why my channel blew up. And so I feel that it is my civil duty to keep searching high and low for the next best tech, the next best angle, and I believe we may have found it. So in today's video, I'm gonna be showing you guys the new Insta360 GO2 camera, and we're gonna be trying to answer the question, is it the next best thing for motocross? So without further ado, let's jump into some technical specs on this thing, and then we'll show you guys some of the awesome footage that I was able to get and some of the mounting positions that you guys can try if you go ahead and pick one of these bad boys up. One of the reasons that action cameras like the GoPro are still as big as they are, okay, I mean, it is pretty small, but when you have it mounted on your helmet, this is a pretty sizable and heavy thing to have on your helmet. And one of the biggest reasons why is that to get any sort of meaningful lifetime out of a battery, it has to be quite large. The GoPro's battery is like half the size of the whole camera. If you could get rid of the battery, I mean, this thing would be probably that big right there. For reference, this is the GoPro battery and this is the entire GO2 camera. Insta360 decided to take a very different approach to the battery situation on their new GO2 camera. There's actually just a very, very small onboard battery on this camera. It can only film for like 30 to 35 minutes, which is one of the downsides, but honestly, for motocross racers, that is more than enough. I mean, at the very top of the sport, we're doing 35-minute motos. Everyone else is doing more like 10-minute motos if they're lucky at a local race. And you may be thinking to yourself like, oh, that pretty much renders this thing useless if I want to be using it all day. But Insta360 was really smart about how they did this, and to combat that problem, the GO2 camera comes with the Insta360 GO2 pod, which essentially is like a big charging station, and it helps you navigate the menus because as you can see, the GO2 camera itself doesn't have like a screen or anything on it, so you have to use the pod to make different selections for, say, like frame rate, resolution, all that sort of thing. And as I said, when you flip it open, this has a battery of its own in it. The camera snaps right in and will start charging once you put it in here. You might be able to see it says connecting and the camera is charging now. And these buttons here are how you make the different menu options for changing frame rate, resolution, all that sort of thing. So before you go to the track, you just charge the case and it will recharge your battery between motos at the track. It's honestly genius. It's really no different than having 3 hours of footage time on, say, like a GoPro. You fully charge the GoPro at the beginning of the day, you do your couple 10-minute sessions and the battery just slowly wears out, but you never actually have it running for 3 hours at a time. So this thing's perfect. You take the camera out, mount it on your helmet, wear the battery down. When you get off the track, pop it back in, charge it up for your next session. I've done some 30-minute motos with it and it's lasted the whole time, no problem at all. You can also vlog with this thing if you want because you can actually still film with it while it's in the case and it will feed off of the battery that is in the case. So you can hold it just like this, do some vlogging with it between motos if you want to, and then pop it off and stick it on your helmet. So of course the size and weight of this thing is the huge benefit to it and why you can get some really cool angles with it. Touching back on the simplicity of this thing, as you guys can see, there's no like little buttons or screens or anything on this. The whole front of the camera is actually a button. So when you want to turn it on, you just click it. It turns on and starts recording, and then when you're done, you click it again and it stops recording and turns off, which is honestly fantastic. When this thing is mounted on your helmet, like for me it's on the chin and I have gloves on, I don't have to be fishing around for any buttons. I literally just grab forward, smack the thing, it turns on and it's ready to rip. When I'm done, same thing, just smack it, shuts off. It's fantastic. So at this point in the video, you guys are probably wondering, how the heck do you actually mount this thing to anything? It doesn't have any threaded inserts or anything on it. It is simply just the camera. And another brilliant thing from Insta360, the whole back of this thing is a magnet, and they make a really cool set of mounts that also have magnets in them. So this just snaps right in and stays there. And then the mounts themselves have like GoPro adapters. This little adapter here will just go right into a regular GoPro mount, which is fantastic. You can use all of the mounts that you already have. I was nervous that it was gonna fall out, so when I put it in these, I still wrap a zip tie around it just to keep it on there, and no fatalities yet. So lots of cool mounting options for this thing. But of course, this wouldn't be a proper review video if I didn't talk about some of the drawbacks of this thing. And of course, going from something the size of a GoPro down to this, it's more than just a battery change. It's definitely not as capable of getting high resolution or slow frame rate or good audio that the GoPro does. You guys will probably most notice the audio on this thing isn't spectacular. It's not as bad as I was expecting out of something this small, but it definitely doesn't quite match the GoPro or even the Insta360 One X2. And unfortunately, there's nowhere to connect like an external microphone. So what you're hearing in this video is what you're gonna get. And then finally, something this small obviously is just not gonna be as capable of getting footage that looks quite as crisp as some of the other cameras, but my stats on YouTube show me that like 70% of you guys watch my videos on your iPhone, and I'm telling you right now, your iPhone camera is so small that you probably are not gonna be able to really tell the pixelation difference between this camera and my GO2 camera that I normally use. What you guys may notice is that this doesn't quite have as good of stabilization, but you guys often tell me that I should reduce the stabilization a little bit to give it more of a realistic feel, and I'm gonna be honest, having it a little less stabilized really does not look bad. Well, that's enough talking about this camera. You guys obviously wanna see this thing in action, and I got plenty of footage for you. I got, obviously, my regular standard chin mount. This is like the staple of the channel. I got that angle so we can compare it side by side with my other setup. They make this really cool like chip clip mount here, and I figured, hey, that looks like it'll fit on my radiator guard perfectly, so angle number 2 is on the radiator guard. And then finally, I went ahead and got probably one of the coolest angles that I've gotten so far, and that is right up underneath my rear fender off to the side so that the tire won't hit it. And I got some footage of the rear tire in action. You can kind of see the shock going up and down, and overall just pretty cool. So without further ado, here's some footage from this unit in action. see here comparing these side by side, I mean, there's definitely a difference. But as I said, if you're watching this on your phone, you might not notice as much of a difference as somebody who's on a computer or a tablet or something like that. If you just want to make like Instagram edits and stuff, this camera might be absolutely perfect for you. You guys can see the radiator guard angle is a little bit shaky. That's not actually because of the onboard stabilization. It was simply just because the radiator guard is a little bit flimsy and they shake around while you're riding. I didn't really realize that, so I'll have to kind of modify this, stiffen it up a little bit, and this one should turn out pretty sweet, but still doesn't look too bad. For this rear-facing angle, I was extremely surprised at how smooth and well stabilized it was, being that, you know, the rear fender shakes around a lot and it's getting a lot of action back there. So I was super impressed with the stabilization of this thing, and you guys can just see for yourself. It's made for a pretty cool angle. So there you have it, guys. Awesome footage out of this tiny little camera. I'm definitely gonna add it to my arsenal of cameras that I take to the track with me so that I can kind of mix up the videos, get some cooler angles for you guys, keep the videos exciting, keep you guys on your toes, and I think you guys will really enjoy using this camera as well. So for a lot of you guys out there, this is the absolute perfect camera. Super lightweight. Plenty of runtime for you guys. It's got the rechargeable pod. Stabilization is good. You can put it wherever you want to on your bike. It's a really sick camera. And of course, just like every other company, Insta360 is running a Black Friday sale. So if you want to go check this camera out or any of the other cameras that they make, I will leave the link down in the description. Using that link actually helps me out as well. So I appreciate it if you guys click on that. You guys will have to let me know what you think. Is this camera going to be one that replaces your current setup? You'll have to let me know down in the comments. But anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching. Hope you liked the video. Hope you like the new angles. And yeah, go check out the new Insta360 GO2 camera. I think you guys will really like it. Peace out. We'll catch you in the next one. Later, guys.